So we'll begin with the opening prayers, which are a distilled pith essence of the Mahayana path, very intentionally leading us out of confusion and into wisdom. All sentient beings, especially those enemies who hate me, obstructors who harm me, and those who create obstacles on my path to liberation and all-knowingness, may they have happiness and be separated from suffering. I will quickly establish them in the most perfect and precious Buddhahood. All sentient beings, especially those enemies who hate me, obstructors who harm me, and those who create obstacles on my path to liberation and all-knowingness, may they have happiness and be separated from suffering. I will quickly establish them in the most perfect and precious Buddhahood. All sentient beings, especially those enemies who hate me, obstructors who harm me, and those who create obstacles on my path to liberation and all-knowingness, may they have happiness and be separated from suffering. I will quickly establish them in the most perfect and precious Buddhahood. Thus, until I achieve enlightenment, I perform virtuous deeds with body, speech, and mind. Until death, I perform virtuous deeds with body, speech, and mind. From now until this time tomorrow, I perform virtuous deeds with body, speech, and mind. In the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha most excellent, I take refuge until enlightenment is reached. By the merit of generosity and other good deeds, may I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings. In the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha most excellent, I take refuge until enlightenment is reached. By the merit of generosity and other good deeds, may I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings. In the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha most excellent, I take refuge until enlightenment is reached. By the merit of generosity and other good deeds, may I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings. As earth and the other elements, together with space, eternally provide sustenance in many ways for the countless sentient beings, so may I become sustenance in every way for sentient beings to the limits of space until all have attained nirvana. As the Sugatas of old gave birth to the bodhicitta and progressively established themselves in the training of a bodhisattva, so I too, for the benefit of beings, shall give birth to that bodhicitta and progressively train myself in that discipline. At this moment, my life has become fruitful. I have realized my human life. Today, I am born into the family of the Buddhas. Now I'm a child of the Buddhas. From now on, I will forthrightly perform the actions befitting my family. I will act so as not to degrade the faultlessness and discipline of my family. Just as with a blind man finding a jewel in a heap of dust, thus somehow bodhicitta has been born in me. This is the supreme Amrita which destroys death, the inexhaustible treasure which removes the world's poverty. It is the supreme medicine which cures the world's sickness, the tree which provides rest for beings weary of wandering on the paths of existence. It is the universal bridge on which all travelers may pass over the lower realms, the rising moon of mind which dispels the torment of the kleshas. It is the great sun which puts an end to the obscurity of ignorance, the pure butter which comes of churning the milk of the holy Dharma. For travelers wandering the paths of existence, seeking happiness from objects of enjoyment, it is supreme bliss near at hand, the great feast which satisfies sentient beings. Today, witnessed by all the protectors, I have welcomed the sentient beings, and Sugatas, Devas, and Asuras rejoice. May all mother sentient beings, boundless as the sky, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they never be separated from the happiness which is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. May all mother sentient beings, boundless as the sky, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they never be separated from the happiness which is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. May all mother sentient beings, boundless as the sky, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they never be separated from the happiness which is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. So here we are studying the 7 points of mind training together, and we are in the 7th section, the final section. And if I were to express this simply, it's how to make the practice your life. It echoes many of the topics we've already worked with, but at the same time, it takes each of those topics slightly deeper. So I'm going to put this slogan for today in our chat box. And there are 2 translations. I always love seeing the difference in the translations. One translation is, whichever of the 2 occurs, be patient. And another translation is, when both are present, take them all. So they are actually reflecting the progression of our understanding as we work with these whole series of Lojong slogans. So if we think of, there was a whole section earlier that was about transforming adversity. And so if we look at the first translation, whichever of the 2 occurs, be patient, it's an echo of that. How to make this practice your life, whichever occurs, good or bad, be patient. And then the second translation, when both are present, take them all, is gone beyond the transforming, and it is an open welcoming. It's like, bring it on. When both are present, take them all. Whatever is occurring, I take it in to see how this becomes my practice. So I want to read briefly 2 commentaries on these and then talk about it a little bit more. So Venerable Pema Chodron on this slogan just goes right to the heart of, be patient with the fact that you're human. Gloriousness and wretchedness both occur in life, and they need each other. One inspires us and one softens us. So we need both to grow in the Dharma, and they have different purposes on the Dharma path when we work with them as Dharma warriors to transform our heart and mind. And then the second commentary comes from the big compendium of mind trainings. If you train your mind, training can penetrate the depths of your mind. But if you did not train your mind in such a manner, you merely chipped at the surface. For this practice, you don't need qualities such as great learning. What is required instead is great courage. You need a well-honed heart. So that goes right back to the statement from Venerable Pema Chodron. In life, all kinds of things are going to happen. There's gloriousness that inspires us and wretchedness that softens us. And working with both makes a well-honed heart. Then the commentator continues, you'll not succeed through prolonged procrastination. If you were capable of proceeding on your path with ease, so whatever afflictions and sufferings arise, you practice teachings, then Dharma practice has arisen. While to bear the title of a noble one or of a bodhisattva, as we have taken the bodhisattva vow together, yet to be objectively deficient in its virtuous activity is worse than being a non-Buddhist heretic. So this is in the scolding style that a lot of the earlier, many centuries earlier commentators used to like. But let's look at that, because essentially what we're exploring is, if something greatly wonderful happens, that has to do with our karma of virtuous deeds. And that karma evaporates after a time. Similarly, if something terrible happens, that also is karma returning to us. And if we can meet that karma, not with confusion, but with this activity of exploring and taking it as an opportunity to hone our heart, then that becomes a virtuous karma, which then opens up the great Dharma circumstances right in front of us, that we can have teachers receive the teachings, have the Dharma available to us. If we miss that opportunity in the difficult things in life, we don't create the future circumstances that we're really aspiring to. We don't hone our heart, and we don't create future situations that are greatly beneficial to us. At the same time, when a glorious thing happens, I love Pema's use of the word glorious, if we miss that and say, oh my goodness, comfort, I want it, I want to keep it, we're missing the opportunity to hone our heart in that situation, which would be, here I have the glorious circumstances I can practice. I can, give it all away if it's material objects. I can offer it to all the Buddhas and sentient beings, Buddhas, and to sentient beings who have nothing, if it's immaterial. And so essentially, we're heading to the sense of one taste with whatever arises, of each circumstance being a different way to explore letting go of attachment and letting go of this self-protective, confused attachment of responsiveness. So each circumstance can set up a different kind of reactivity. And to look at the reactivity if something good happens and something bad happens. You win the lottery, and are you going to, buy a new house and get a new car, or are you going to immediately look at how it allows you to practice generosity? A friend of mine just received an inheritance, and she's sponsoring a whole renovation at a Dharma center. So there was an immediate sense not to hoard, not to better her own circumstances, but how can I benefit sentient beings with this unexpected windfall? So with the one taste of whatever occurs, be patient, or if good or if the two are present, take them all, is they're all meaningful for practice. Each one can allow a reflection, a seeing of our habitual responses, a delicate exploration that continuously is freeing us a little bit more each day, a little bit more each moment. So I invite you to reflect, and I'm going to just put it into American childhood terms. So you're the trick-or-treater in life. You open one door and the person says, here's a big bowl of candy, take as much as you want. How does your mind habitually react? You go to the next door and someone gives you one teeny light little, one of those supermarket packages that has 5 M&Ms in it. How do you react? Then you go to the third door and someone says, didn't you see the lights are out? Go away, you little brat. Don't ever come back here. So whatever circumstances arise, take them all. Each one is an illumination of our habitual patterns. So let's sit with this for a few minutes. So I'm going to invite you this morning to look at these two slogans from the perspective of the two different commentaries. So thinking about what is really up for you this moment in your life. We all face sickness, old age, death. So any of those, classic sufferings could be going on in your life. And here we are in the fall season, we are in Maine, those of us who are locally in Maine, experiencing the gloriousness of fall. And you might take a moment for a walk wherever you are and experience some sort of glorious nature or some sort of unexpected delight in a city. So thinking about what is really present for you in this moment, in the gloriousness, are you responding in a dharmic way? Is the gloriousness just an opportunity to become cheerful, to offer joy to others? I was walking with some friends yesterday, and one of the people I walk with is just delighting in everything. So that slogan, always maintain a cheerful mind, I noticed how her cheerfulness was something that she brought to everyone we passed and elevated my mind in that moment. On the other hand, if we were walking and complaining and talking about politics the whole time, we would have had the fortunate circumstances of gloriousness, but in those circumstances, complaining and making that gloriousness a hardening of an unvirtuous pattern. So gloriousness can be used, it can be missed, it can be wasted. And then the suffering, if you are working with a particular suffering today, then Pema's comment of being patient with the fact that you're human. Whichever of the two occurs, be patient. How can you be patient with yourself in this moment so that you can turn your mind towards the Dharma and be patient with how hard it is to take difficult circumstances and ask for help, use them to grow, and right in front of your face, seeing, well, in this difficult moment, I actually would prefer to whine. I would actually prefer to do whatever I can to escape. This is the moment to use all the training we've had and not waste it. So again, whichever of the two occurs, be patient, and when both are present, take them all, is an invitation to remember they're human, that we are human, and not waste this moment by not bringing it to the Dharma. So I'm going to give everyone, really 5 or 6 minutes to really think, okay, the whether it's a glorious thing or I think Pema used a word, wretched thing. This is what's up for me just today, this moment. How do I not waste this moment? So let's sit with that for a good 5 minutes. You may want to just write down some notes to yourself with tender patience that I am human. How do I not waste this moment? And as we are really contemplating this, how would you say to yourself, now is the time to gather courage. This is going to hone my heart. I will undertake this task. Not avoid it, not waste it. I will undertake this task right now. How do you gather your courage, your determination? Whatever occurs, take them all. With the tender patience a parent has for a child that's just learning to walk. Falling over again and again. But that determination to take them all. So with the dedication, I'll close the live Facebook and we'll go into discussion groups. Bodhicitta, excellent and precious mind, where it is unborn, may it arise. Where it is born, may it not decline, but ever increase over and over, ever increase greater and greater. So just seeing our life as this dedication. Bodhicitta, excellent and precious mind, where it's weak in this situation, may it grow, may it increase. And through our practice, may we take it through Tonglen or take it through just as an example to where it has not yet arisen, so that it might arise. So whatever you'd like to share, whether it's how you're working with what is up for you right now, or how you are finding a way to gather courage to welcome all of life as your path. You're also welcome to sit in meditation to keep contemplating. But it also is very helpful, each person expressing the wisdom that they're finding through their Dharma path.